Hey, welcome to Right Hand Drive, guys. Episode number 9, live from Japan. I'm Bobby, and this is Aaron.
Yo.
And we are about to let you in on our experience on our first week in Japan. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been a whole experience so far.
Seriously. And so we landed on Monday, and I mean, when we landed, it was just immediate wow. It was just completely different from where we left. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I don't know. It's the same, but it's so different.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is the same. And it's not what you would expect, I don't think.
Right. I mean, it's not like, you step off the plane and you see R-34s and,
yeah,
all this cool stuff. No,
I mean, it's definitely maybe 10, 15 years ago, but today I think a lot of what we have maybe mentally created, is from the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was actually pretty cool. We were a little nervous about getting off the plane, going through like Japanese customs and, just that process. But it really wasn't too bad.
No. And, I mean, we whipped right through there.
Yeah,
online
quick.
it was saying 30 minutes to 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
There was no one in line.
Yeah,
We
it was
whipped
10
right
minutes.
through. No struggle at all. You were like, yo, is this it? Am I good?
Yeah.
Is this all? Is this all it was?
I was waiting to get strip searched and stuff. Like there was none of that. He just was like, "Hey, here's your sticker for Japan," And so no, that was cool. And we got right off the plane, and we got chosen to be interviewed for what was that show? It was Why Are You Here? Like some like kind of Tokyo syndicated little show that they do about why foreigners are in Japan.
Right. And they play it on like whatever their Channel 7 news station.
Local stuff.
It's like their local like segment every week, and that was pretty cool. They had like a little translator there, and the guy was asking us, why are we here? And I mean he was cool.
Yeah, it was a sweet like first experience as far as just being welcomed to Tokyo and almost being made feel like you're a movie star. Just like, oh hey, and so that was really cool. And we bounced out of there. We didn't have any checked bags under the plane, so it was easy for us to just keep it moving, and so from that point we take a taxi to Top Rank Global, where my R-34 was being stored. And so we get in this taxi, and it's, what was it, like an hour and
I think it was about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. And this guy, he was interesting. And Aaron was sitting in the front seat, and Amber and I were in the back. And what was your experience like in the front seat of this Japanese taxi?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool, man. It was just like taking it all in initially. And, once we got away from the airport and a little bit out of the city, going towards Chiba, it turned into farmland, a bunch of rice fields, bunch of like small one-lane roads they looked like one-lane roads.
They do. They look
but,
like...
you hit oncoming traffic and like everyone squeezes by. And
just
like,
barely.
Yeah, right. I'm like puckering up, squeezing my cheeks together to squeeze by, and this dude's whipping past these cars at like, 60 kilometers. Just and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. And the guy pulls the mom arm on Aaron when he's hammering too hard and has to slam on the brakes. He puts his arm out in front of Aaron, and we're all like, dude, there's a seatbelt right here I got on.
Right. And he was whipping that van. I don't know what kind of van. I think it was an Alphard or something like that. Something I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, some of those roads he was flying down, and it was like these roads right next to like a river or a canal or something.
Oh yeah.
And
it was like farm roads almost.
Right.
But it seemed like it was running parallel to like a highway or something that we weren't on. It was weird.
Yeah, super weird. And then some of the roads we went down, they had these poles sticking up. Like back home, we have like on the UTV trails and stuff whenever you enter the trail, they have these poles sticking out. So if you're so wide, you can't make it through. They had these on like normal roads. So like you could only fit through in a K car or, you know, a car that's only so wide. So that was kind of wild to see. It's like
different. Yeah. Like there's, I mean, it's, you know, it's not bad driving here. You know, I've done like about 1,500 kilometers on the roads here, and it's not bad, but it's definitely a tiny bit of a learning curve, especially with the signs and like the speed limits. They're very slow here. They take their time. You know, compared to us, like jerk Americans that just want to hammer and get the heck out of our way.
Yeah.
Here, it's like
everyone's very considerate.
Consideration is huge here. Like I've never felt like people cared as much as they definitely do here.
Right, like people will actually let you merge.
Yeah.
People actually yield.
They want want you to merge in front of them. They don't want to hammer past you and make you get behind them. They're like, "No, please. Go ahead," you know. So no, that's why I like to call it the initial reaction. You know, again, from the car guy side, maybe not what we were expecting. Right. But from a human side, definitely awesome. Like, for sure. And so, yeah, this guy brings us out to, you know, southern Chiba, and we get to Top Rank Global. If you don't know who Top Rank is, they are international vehicle importers, and that is who I purchased the R34 GTR through. You know, and pulling in there, it's a big warehouse, and yeah, it was cool. I mean, immediately, you know, my R34 is parked out front, but they had an R33, they had a Evo 5, they had, you know, a bunch of cool cars up on lifts, and then on the other side of the warehouse, they just had, you know, engines, transmissions, like they had just
parts everywhere.
Yeah, like they were disassembling vehicles and getting ready to get the parts out of there.
Right, and even out back there, they had, I don't know if it was them. I don't know if they were affiliated with the shop as well behind them, but like, yeah, all out through back, there was cars being dismantled, like nothing really crazy, but like, it was just wild to see, like, just all these cars.
Right.
And
in the process that like these shops and everybody are like kind of putting these cars through, you know, to like kind of make their money and get the stuff distributed.
Right.
And so, yeah, we met some cool guys over at Top Rank. We got, you know, everything set up. We got the ETC card, which is kind of like an easy pass or like a toll setup in the car. And we took off. We got out of there as quickly as we possibly could. And basically we started heading to Yokohama, which is where our first Airbnb was.
Right. And that was such a cool drive. You know, I'm pretty sure that was part of the Wangan Highway.
Yeah.
And just cruising, you know, over the bridges, seeing Tokyo. We did see one cool Civic.
Yeah.
Dude, there was it was like an EG hatchback, slammed, blacked out. Dude had the tag, the license plate rolled up on the back. He saw us, he started whipping.
Yeah.
You know, he
was hammering.
Yeah.
Hit VTEC real quick.
Oh, yeah. Real quick. And he started swerving in and out. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is it, dude. We're in the spot.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was only one car and it was just a Civic, it was still cool to see because
that was like the initial, like, oh, shit.
Right, that was the first cool thing we saw. Like,
and that was about it.
Yeah, that was about it for the night.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what, you know, the car guys in us, right? We're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. We're getting into it, right? Like this is, like you said, this is the spot, but it's not like that. Like at this point, you have to be going to the right place to see these type of things. You're not going to just see them on your way to your Airbnb unless you're lucky.
Right, and our Airbnb was right near Daikoku, so that's probably where that dude was going.
Yeah, for sure. And so, you know, we get we get over to the Airbnb, you know, kind of just get all settled in. Because at this point, you know, we landed at like 4 and we're not getting to the Airbnb until pretty late.
Right.
So we're just kind of trying to, figure it out because there's a 13-hour time difference here.
Yeah.
We're like currently it's 10:26 a.m. for us, but it's 9:30 p.m. from where we're from.
Right.
So as we record, so it's definitely, that's no joke. Like, I don't even know, call it jet lag, call it whatever, but it's not a joke for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the adjustment, I think we're just getting adjusted, and we're on like day 7.
Right.
Like, it took us a week to fully be able to go to sleep and wake up at normal times.
Yeah. I mean, it's been wild. It's like the adjustment is a little weird, but I feel like we're kind of being fueled off the adrenaline and like the just excitement pretty much right now.
Yeah. For sure. But maybe not even necessarily now, but definitely the first few days. Like, the first few days, like, it was because, and that was the thing, I kept, like, my body, like, kept just, like, knocking me out. Like, so the next night, or the next day, day 2, kind of, so to speak, really full day 1, we went to the Don Quixote.
Oh, yeah. The mega store.
The mega store, which, we got super Walmarts and all these things, right? But
This
like
is shitting on all that.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just such a better vibe too. It feels like not a local vibe, but not a Walmart vibe, that's for sure.
Right, and that store is insane. Like, the lower floor had a full entire grocery store with like fresh produce, fresh meat, like anything you would want from a grocery store, right?
Right.
Then upstairs they had
everything
else, dude, from designer bags and stuff like that to clothing, just regular type clothing.
Right, electronics, car
electronics,
stuff, you name it.
Right, phone cases, like just insane amounts of stuff, toys,
personal massagers,
like all
everything. Yeah, it was crazy.
Everything. I mean.
And so that was an experience, like, in its own, just walking around there. We didn't even, we bought a few little things, but we didn't even need to buy anything. It was really just, like, taking in, like, this is how the Japanese shop and, like, handle their business, all in this one huge mega store.
Right. And we didn't even go up to the upper level where they had all the restaurants and, like, food court and all that stuff. But, yeah, it was insane. And, dude, I don't know what it is that I don't know. It's just wild. All these lights flashing and all these noises just constantly going off.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of overwhelming. And you're trying to take it all in and like navigate your way through the store. And it's just like crazy. It's just, you can't even like.
You can't explain it really. You have to experience it.
Right.
And so, let's get straight to it. Okay, the language barrier. There is like a language barrier to an extent. Obviously, it's 2023. You got, Google Translate, you got Apple Translate, you got these different apps that will absolutely aid you. But you really got to be able to use some common sense to even kind of get what you want. You got to kind of put 2 and 2 together. And so, maybe that first day or so, that was a little more challenging because we had to get our minds into that,
right,
rhythm of like, okay, what is this actually?
Right.
We're over here, I'm looking for melatonin, and no, it's not happening. I got 5 things.
She
in
was
my
taking
hand.
you to pillows.
Yes. I'm like, oh, no, no. And I got to get the translate out and figure it out. But, we're making it through, right? We took a walk in downtown Yokohama and trying to get breakfast, and they do breakfast different here. It's not American breakfast, eggs and bacon and all these different things. Like, right. I really couldn't tell you what they eat for breakfast. Like, day 7, I'm still not really sure what the breakfast food is.
Right, and a lot of these places open a little later. Like all the cafes and stuff, they don't open at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., nothing like that.
10, 11.
8, 9, maybe 10.
Yeah.
So, they do get a later start in the day as well. But everything is open way later as well.
Way later, yeah. And so I'm not sure what priority they actually even put on breakfast, if that's even part of their like routine like that, where like Americans will wake right up and start like pounding the food. Maybe they don't. Still haven't figured that part out, but no complaints. I mean, this morning I had a ham and cucumber sandwich for breakfast, and I'm happy as hell. Like I got no complaints. I'll let Aaron. He's a coffee guy. I'll let Aaron tell you about our coffee experience here. Like, dude, damn.
Let me tell you, I never thought that I would get coffee out of a vending machine and be so satisfied before in my life. Hot or cold coffee.
Out of a vending machine.
Out of a vending machine in a can, mass produced.
Dank.
Dude, so good.
Yeah.
The Boss Coffee, like, next level.
Like, once we started realizing this, and because we went to like a place and had some coffee the first morning, and then later on that day we had Starbucks. And then we found the Caramel Boss. Yeah. And that was like the first one that I really, really tried. And I was like, oh, my Lord.
Right. We walked by that one vending machine. And, I was like, yeah, let me get a coffee real quick. You're like, what? What are you doing? I'm like, yeah, just check it out. So I got this can of black coffee. And I was like, you were like, ugh, black coffee. Oh, gross. Yeah. What is that?
Trying to grow hair on your chest.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, man, I hope this is decent. I hope I don't have to, like, really choke this down or nothing. Crack it open. Take the first couple sips.
What do you mean? You chugged the whole thing immediately. It was like that can was empty and you had another one in your hand before I could even turn around.
Dude, it was crazy. Like the best black coffee I've ever had before in my life. Not bitter at all. Not nothing.
And this is in a can from a vending machine. Hot.
Yeah.
Like and beautiful.
Also, like their cans here are way thicker. So they stay colder way longer. They stay hotter way longer.
They're like insulated, like
in that sense. And
another thing, with the Caramel Boss, we were like, damn, we keep leaving this caramel on the bottom because the can would still be heavy.
Yeah, you would feel the weight at the bottom. You're like, whoa, what happened here? Like, I should have shook that up. But then after the second or third one, we're like, oh, okay. It's just a thick can, because I was also realizing that they was staying cold in my pocket, through a train ride and whatever. If I didn't crack it open immediately, it was still good when I did. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and like you had kind of mentioned, like they made the bottom a little heavier, so whether you were on the train or if you're in your car or whatever, the can's not like tipping, like it's like solid, like it's mint, like. So I know this sounds like okay, guys, but it's like, no, these little things that like the ingenuity and like the care that they put into things that we just don't experience because they're not about. I mean, they are, but they're not totally about the bottom dollar. I don't think. I think it's also about that user experience and the whole thing, right?
The care and the pride that goes into everything here.
Everything.
Like, dude, back home, you can crush up a Coke can, no problem, right? Here, you're hard pressed to smush up a can.
And that thing's like, look, like they got these little dimples in it to make it like reinforce. It's just, it's very interesting. And so, and Aaron does Bulletproof, so he's a big coffee guy. So when we're talking about like this coffee's awesome, like, this coffee's awesome.
Blew my mind.
I would never go to Starbucks again if we had these vending machines.
100%.
Like, it would be sick. But so, we did the Yokohama thing for a few days. Like we talked about in an earlier episode, we hit Disney. Little lackluster on my behalf. I've been to the one in Florida, like I talked about. I was kind of interested to compare. I literally knew my way around Tokyo Disney.
Yeah. You were like, dude, this is the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a miniature version of Walt Disney World. So let's move right past that because there's not much to talk about there. But we did go over to Big Bang, and that is a entertainment complex. And I think that was a blast. I mean, they have these little drift carts that you upstairs you go and, you get like 5 races of 8 laps, and it's challenging. I mean,
it's a slick track.
Yeah.
Low speed. And, you walk into this go-kart place and it's all this Americana stuff.
Yeah.
They have like NASCAR pictures of like random driver photos and stuff on the wall. Like, just they have American flags there.
Yeah,
I haven't seen not one Japanese flag, but they had American flags like hanging as the decorations and like
very interesting. And,
right.
And like, to put a picture in your head, Picture something from the 90s, because that's pretty much how I felt when I was in there. It was very like 90s.
Yeah, everything had that fade to it. Like someone's been smoking cigarettes in there a long time.
Yeah.
Like they still had the tube TVs up on the walls.
Yes, they did, yeah.
You know, that was just kind of, it was kind of a time capsule.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I like enjoyed it. But, you know, when it came to actually running the carts, like Aaron said, it was slick. And so you really had to get the hang of it with either whether you were tap and brake or counter steering or whatever it may be. You really needed to like focus and get that rhythm on those corners.
Right. It was a simple track. It was just like a kidney bean.
Yeah.
You know,
nothing
shape.
Crazy.
And
4 corners.
Dude, they waved the flag to go the first time. We all floor it. Dude, every single one of us spin out first turn. Guy runs out, has to spin us all back around. And just like...
He's just like, all right,
Total
Americans. Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a blast, and that is something that we had pre-planned because, we had heard about it, seen it in videos, seen it online.
Right.
Downstairs, they had a slot car track, which, I grew up when I was young. My friend had a slot car track. His dad did in the basement. And so I was like, dude, I want to run these. And, there was options. And, of course, I picked the high-speed one,
Right.
I didn't understand what high-speed slot car track meant, clearly.
Right. I set this one out. I was like, I'm going to let you do this one. I mean... It seems like it's fun, but I also don't want to send a car through the wall. And you're like, what do you mean, dude? They don't come off the track. And, there's this old dude in there, and he's like, he's got his car on track, and he has his full kit set up. He's like, cleaning the brushes, cleaning the wheels off after every run.
Oh, yeah. Has a whole bag full of stuff, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's in there just whipping it around, like a...
pro.
Like a pro, on a random Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Bobby gets on track. Look out.
Yeah, it's pretty standard for when I'm on any track. So I'm like, oh, wow, this guy is cruising. So I just bottom that thing out, dude.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Dude, you about lawn darted that thing outside. It was insane.
Yeah, it skipped seven tracks, dude. Just spins, and the guy just looks at me and is just like shakes his head like, okay, bud.
Yeah,
so, I get it back on track, and, I kind of figure it out for a few laps, and then I lost it, and I was...
Yeah, it was...
It was cool.
You spent a lot of time walking back to reset your car.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
About as much as you did driving.
Pretty much, yeah, because it's just like... Those things cruise. I don't know what the actual speed is on it, but like very fast. Yeah, my eye could hardly keep up with it.
Right, and the dude that was there that was like doing decent, like his was insane. Like it was just
a
so
6-wheeler, right?
Yeah, it was one of those 6-wheel IndyCar type things. But it was crazy. You would see him fly on the straights and just slow down a little bit for the turn, and then fly out of the turn. And it was just so crazy how it was looking, but like.
So that was an experience in itself, because I think you'd be hard-pressed anywhere around where we live to find a slot car track like that. So,
right.
That was like absolutely an experience that I won't forget, that's for sure. And so, we kind of wrapped it up in Yokohama that night and got ready to head to Osaka the next morning. Via Shinkansen, which was our first high-speed bullet train experience.
Yeah.
And so, and like we said, language barrier. So we're in there, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do we get our Shinkansen tickets? I want to make sure we're on the green car, which is like, quote-unquote, first class. It's just, a few more amenities and whatnot. So we figure it out. We walk on the train, and I'm like, oh, wow. Wow. This is our first transit experience, period.
Well, dude, while we were waiting, there was a train that came through.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was wild. Just flew through the station, just and it was gone.
Yeah.
Like, full car, it was gone within seconds.
I did not expect that. Like, all of a sudden I see it, and I blinked, and I was like, wait, what was that? You're like, dude, it's a train. And I was like...
It's a white flash.
Holy moly, they let him go through here like that? And he's like, yeah, that's why they don't want you over that yellow line. Here I am standing over the yellow line, and, and the guy's like, hey, get it, like saying, get behind the yellow line. And
right.
it was that in itself, it was an experience to fully realize like how fast you're going, seeing it from the outside. Because on the train, you feel like you're going fast, but you don't feel like you're going that fast.
Right. Yeah, and the train ride was cool. Like,
beautiful.
Just getting to see the countryside, all the rice fields,
having some chill time.
Right, all the little greenhouses they have set up.
Yeah.
And, seeing all the workers in the fields that we did pass.
It
was
was.
Sweet, it was
seeing
just...
like the outskirts, kind of like that more countryside, like probably more traditional Japan, so to speak.
Right.
And that was cool. And like I said, just having some time to kind of reflect and just relax as we had been going at that point.
Right.
And we left the GTR at the train station, which is perfectly cool here. Like I'm not, as we speak, we're in our caravan and the GTR is out next to us. I don't have it locked. It sat out there all night. Like I'm not really worried about much, as far as that type of stuff here. I really feel like the people of Japan are very courteous and respectful of others.
Yeah.
And so, we headed to Osaka, and this was our first experience figuring out like we actually took the taxi from Osaka station to the first Airbnb. That's right, that's the last taxi we took, because we realized that taking taxis was going to cost us much more than just putting in the effort to figure out the transit.
Right, yeah, the trains go everywhere.
They really do, and there's stations everywhere, like everywhere.
Yeah, you might have to switch a line to local or whatever it might be, but very simple.
Yeah.
And with Google Maps, it tells
really
you pretty
helps.
well.
Yeah.
If you just click that transit button.
And so we give the address to the Airbnb to the taxi driver, and, he's like, yeah, no problem. And so, but he drops us off. I don't know. The way they do their blocks and stuff is like different, but he drops us off in this one block, and we're searching for this Airbnb, and we're like
walking in circles.
We're like, this does not even make sense. Like, it would go from the number before what we needed to the number after of what we needed, and we're just like, okay. And so get on Google Maps, because what we've realized is Apple Maps, as great as it is here, not as expansive as Google Maps. So if you come, use Google Maps, because it will definitely save you some time. So it ended up that our Airbnb was like a 12, 15-minute walk beyond where we had been dropped off. So
not bad, though, taking in the culture, taking in the scenes, seeing downtown Osaka.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. But we walk up to this Airbnb, and it's like, it's just so surreal how, like, we're standing back and we're just looking at the front of it, and it's just wild how it's like just stuck in there. It just seemed like somebody just placed it there, in between all
everything
this
was
other
just
stuff.
Built around it.
Yeah, it was wild. And so it's got this nice stone door, and we open up this door, and this was for sure the best Airbnb that I feel like I've been to. Like, I mean, especially compared to the Yokohama one. But it was just a beautiful Airbnb, and it really set the tone for that afternoon. So at this point, like I'm saying, we're in Osaka. It's kind of the afternoon, and we kind of just take some time to chill. And we went to a steakhouse and got some Wagyu.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good.
That was very, very good.
Cooked it right on the table.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so, funny story, right? Because, Aaron and I definitely big Wagyu guys. Big
food guy here.
Big, yeah. And so, we're looking at the menu, and both of us naturally gravitate to, like, the most meat possible.
Right. The biggest sampler platter you've ever seen before in your life.
And so, the waitress comes up, and we're trying to each order one of these.
Right.
And she's like, one moment. Goes back, consults with the chef or whatever, and he's like, what he was saying back there. He's like, these white guys want way too much meat. We're closing in 1 hour.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, you just want one of these. And we're like,
we were trying to order a dinner for 6.
Literally.
For the both of us.
Yes. and so, she's like, one of these will be good. And, we're waiting for it to come out. And like, we're like, if we finish this, we're going to be like mad, like if we're still hungry, right? Like we wanted 2 of them. And so she comes out, she brings 2 plates. She comes back out, she brings 2 more plates.
Yeah.
Comes back out, brings 2 more plates. At this point, there's literally no room on the table.
Right.
Comes back out with the vegetables.
Yeah.
and Amber's like, you wanted 2 of these? And we're just like, all right, let's get to it.
Yeah, dude. Started throwing the meat on the grill.
Yeah, and took us an hour to finish it, literally, but
and eating the entire time.
The whole time. Cooking the whole time.
And eating the entire time. It was
awesome.
It was like a marathon, dude.
Yeah, it was. And we made it. We may not have come in first, but we crossed the finish line.
Yeah, I was
for sure.
meat wasted.
Oh, yeah. We both were. We felt messed up, literally, because... And whether it was, again, that mix of the adrenaline, the excitement, and the Wagyu,
right?
I don't know what it was, but we felt high. We just felt messed up. Like,
yeah.
And so, clearly after this, we go back and just, like, sit on the couch and are just like, watching
Lights
some
out
stuff.
almost immediately after for me.
Yeah, and so, but the Airbnb had... a hot spring in it, and so it's this huge square tub. It's like it's got to be at least 200 gallons, like huge wooden tub, like old school dowel, like it's like beautiful tub. And I actually went and sat in there for a few, and I started like passing out from the meat and the heat, and I was like, all right, I gotta get out of here.
Who's cooking who here?
Yeah. I'm getting cooked at this point. And so, that was a great experience because, again, big meat guys. And so being able to have that Japanese, like, Wagyu in
85.
Japan, yes, it was just very awesome. So the next day, we were like... Woke up, moving a little slow. Aaron says he processed all the meat immediately. I wasn't. I don't know.
Dude, I was so hungry the next morning. I absorbed all of that.
Yeah.
So hungry.
Yeah, you had it from head to toe. I don't know, man. But so we decided we were going to head out to Kyoto and Nara. And so we jumped on. This was the point when we realized we need to figure out the public transit.
Yes.
Because a taxi from Osaka to Nara to Kyoto, this is going to be challenging. This is going to cost too much money, and we can't blow through all of our funds just on taxis. So we got the time, yeah. And so we got the IC card, which is kind of a prepaid card that you can. You just slap it, as Aaron loves to do. You just slap it on these readers when you go into the train. And again, we just started using Google Maps and putting in our origin and destination, and it tells us which lines we needed to take and what time they were departing. And it really made it pretty effortless beyond keeping track of signs. That's all you had to do.
Right.
Yeah. So, we took I think it was the JR line over to Nara, and we come out of the Nara train station.
Might as well be in America.
Might as well be in America. No.
It was just...
It felt it, though. There was a lot of people that were not Japanese.
Right. Definitely a big tourist area. And
the most Japanese that we saw were the deer. And I'm not saying that lightly. There was so many deer, almost 100 feet out of the train station. All of a sudden, these things are nibbling on my butt cheeks, smashing me in the gut. I'm just like, all right, guys, what do you want?
And this is a natural thing. The Nara area is famous for these deer that are friendly. Well, friendly for the most part.
Yeah, they know what they want,
and they run the city, dude. I'd imagine it'd be like being in a downtown metropolitan area anywhere in the States, and pair that with just wild deer literally walking through the street, standing in the middle of the intersections, in the medians.
And these things
sidewalks.
Are wild, and I don't mean from the woods. I mean they are wild.
Right. This isn't a petting zoo. This is wild deer, and this is how they live, and this is their area. And you you got to respect the deer.
Yeah, and
You
they're
know?
like street vendors, that you can buy like deer crackers from.
Right.
And let me tell you, if you go to Nara, okay, definitely get the deer crackers, but watch yourself because these deer know you got the crackers, and once you feed them, they don't want you to stop.
No, you have to run away.
Yeah.
Like, they won't chase you in that sense. But like, if you're trying to walk away, you're gonna get nipped.
Yeah.
Like,
they're gonna be like, hey,
especially if
I'm not
you've
done.
already fed them.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
I was trying to take a picture of Amber with one of the deer, and literally a deer that I had just fed is like nibbling on my butt cheek, like, hey, dude, like, we weren't done. And, and I was just like, that's when I realized, like, oh, wow. Like,
yeah, I mean, I got my stack of crackers and, went up to the first one I saw and was like, sit,
yeah,
stay, give me paw, like a dog or something, right? I give him the treat. I turn around, try to find where you guys are, start walking back, and deer's following me, starts nipping on me, like, biting me in the ass, biting me in the elbow. I'm like, whoa, dude, whoa. Like,
chill.
These deer are aggressive.
Absolutely.
If you let them, know?
Yeah. And so we, at this point, we've been through maybe a stack of crackers. We get another one. And, there was this nice foreigner just like us. And she was like, hey, like, have you gotten any to bow to you? And I was like, bow? And she's like, yeah, bow at this one right here. And I started bowing at the deer, and it was bowing back. Yeah. Like, I was mind blown that this deer was bowing at me. Yeah. Like, super Japanese deer. Like, respectful when they need to be, So it was a very cool experience in Nara. We cruised around kind of the downtown of Nara, checked it out, and, got back on transit, headed to Kyoto. And that's where we went and did the what was that shrine? Like, what is that area called? Do you remember?
I don't remember totally what it's called, but it's, if you've seen like these orange like gates, that's pretty much what it was, and it was up a mountainside. Yeah,
which I didn't realize. Like, I didn't realize that. From everything, I just did not know that you had to like climb the mountain to continue through, because there's probably thousands of these orange gates that you continuously are walking through as you're going up the mountainside. And like, at first, not bad, but then once you start going up that incline, it was just like, holy moly, how
Mount
far?
Inari.
Mount Inari. Oh yeah, that's right, Inari. And, a bunch of shrines, and they also had some cool, like 5-story shrines, and it was really like a beautiful scene, like some
bunch of feral cats just chilling everywhere.
Yeah, it was wild. While we're going up the mountain, they're just like all lined up on this piece of concrete, just like staring at you. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but I was thinking, please don't come over here.
Yeah.
Are these like the deer?
Right.
But that was a great traditional Japan like experience, like a great tourist experience. And we knew needed to be on the list.
Right. And that place is crazy.
Yeah.
Bunch of lights, bunch of shops, bunch of everything. Anything you could imagine.
I would compare it to Times Square to an extent, maybe not as big, but definitely as bright and lively.
Right. Like a Times Square Vegas mixture thing. Like, it's super weird, and it's got a river flowing like right through it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was very cool. Like, and just the lights, and it was just awesome. And they had a shopping center that goes through the middle of it with every brand you could probably think of.
Right. Saw a random 6'4" Impala.
Yeah, it was cool. We were just walking, trying to find a bathroom, actually.
Yeah.
Which proved to be a little difficult. But all of a sudden, he looks at me, he's like, oh, dude. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, and this dude's just dragging and just like loving it. And that was a cool experience to just see, again, that Americana in Japan.
Right.
And
he
how
saw
they
us.
love it.
He stopped, let us take pics.
Yes.
Dude, he was loving it.
He was loving it. And that's what's cool, right? Is like, he knew, we knew, and it was that car guy moment,
Right. And that's very far and few between out here.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a car that looks cool, you give the guy a thumbs up, he just looks at you crazy.
Right. And again, like, it's hard. We are like two Americans, and we are driving around a Japanese car, and we don't know their feelings on that. We, of course, in our minds want to think that they think it's awesome, but, we did analyze the fact that maybe they're thinking that we are stealing something or robbing them of something because we are taking all of these Skylines. We are taking all of these Sylvias. We're taking a lot of these cars that maybe they love and didn't have the opportunity to have. And, the situation he's specifically talking about was this Autech R33 GTR that we saw, and we chased this guy down. We chased him down from a parking area. Like, I'm talking, I was doing 180 kms on the highway trying to find this guy. Hitting the speed cut, trying to find this guy because Aaron was so excited when we saw this at the parking area that I wanted him to be able to get some rollers.
Yeah, dude.
And
so insane.
And so, so we find him, and I slow down next to him so Aaron can get the rollers and stuff, and Aaron gives the guy a thumbs up, and stink eye. Just,
dude, 100%.
Yeah, like, listen, boys, get.
It's like one of those things. It's like, does this guy know what he has? Does he know he's driving like a 1 of 400, type of car?
It was hard to tell because it wasn't. He didn't keep it clean like it was a 1 of 400. That's
you could tell it was a daily driver, man. Like, whenever we pulled up in the parking area, I saw it and I was like, holy shit! Like, what? I started losing my mind, and then I'm like checking it out, and it's just like dirty.
Yeah.
He's like ripping cigarettes inside with the windows up. Like,
all
the wheels are curved. It's stock ride height, stock everything.
Tech badge faded a little.
Right. And I'm just like losing my mind over this car, and this guy is just like, whatever with it.
So that's what's hard. Those car guy moments, they aren't as plentiful as kind of we had imagined.
Right.
But I mean, we're, at this point, we're only 5 days in, so there's still a lot to be had. And so this kind of, the Dotonbori kind of ended our Osaka trip, as the next morning,
right.
We're going to be headed to the famous Ebisu.
Right. Which is a hike from Osaka.
Oh, yeah. That was over a 5-hour trip. And so, we're going to leave that experience for the next episode because Ebisu was seriously, it's a episode of its own. Just, we weren't there for that long, less than 24 hours. And I felt like we were there for 3 days just with the amount of experiences that were had.
Yeah, insane. I could talk about that for all day.
Right. And so that's going to be next episode. If you want a little sneak peek, go ahead and hit us up on the IG at RHDGUYS and, check it out. We got some good stuff on there from that experience that should hold you over until we can drop this next episode. But I'm just going to say one thing. We are loving it. We are absolutely loving Japan. Japan is everything that I personally, imagine it would be. Yeah, maybe not on the car side as much, but as a whole, it's absolutely amazing. And we're absolutely excited for these next 7 days that we still have.
Yeah, everything I imagined. Plus more. And so, stay tuned for the next episode to hear about the Drift Matsuri. But for now, I'm Bobby, and this is Aaron. See ya.
Peace.